Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, come in today for this special video reflection today. And you may recall in my last video on when I just looked at the show Glee that I was going to go into the show in a little bit more detail, particularly around an event that happened on the 13th of July 2013. This is a very big, massive shock to the Glee cast, to the world, and as we discovered, and we'll look at some videos below the show itself and how they dealt with what actually happened. Because it was on that day that Corey Monteith, who played the character of Finn in the show, died. Finn was the quarterback of the school gridiron team, and he gradually found himself when he transitioned across to the Glee Club, and he became a well-loved person in that school. Rachel all the way down to all the other characters in that particular show, and the way that and Kurt as well as another one in particular, and how he endeared himself to everybody. And I think there's we had a bit of a privilege, of lack of a better word here, to see how grief can look, not only in real life, and we don't get to see much of the real life happening here, but I suppose through the characters, everybody's coming to terms with the fact that Corey had died suddenly and unexpectedly as well. And all the gamut of emotions that actually went through that particular episode. And so I thought it was important for us today to just sit and reflect on this particular moment in time. Obviously, any person who dies is going to leave a lasting legacy, and I think the legacy varies from person to person, and it varies on how you react to that legacy and how much of an impact it has on you. But certainly in the Glee episode, it was the 5th episode, season 3, the quarterback, where everybody got to really, really say how they were feeling. They went from being, no, I'm okay, to absolutely breaking down and crying. And I think, but the thing I love about these clips is the shared experience and the fact that they were actually there for each other in what was a pretty traumatic time. Because the tears that we were seeing on TV, and I'm getting a bit teary as I'm actually looking at this today, is that these were the actors grieving for Corey, as well as the characters grieving for Finn. And I think when you can get both of those things happening at the same time, and giving us all, I suppose, an opportunity to grieve for, first of all, Corey, and then for his character Finn. So I thought it was important for us to just look at some videos today, just to, I suppose, reflect back on this time, this precious time in American television that went to the world. So let's go through the clips. So we've got Rachel. Now, of course, Rachel being one of the closest to Finn in the series, singing If You Could Feel My Love. And this is, in the minute you start to, I'm getting teary. The minute you start hearing, when you hear the song start, you think, oh, wow. I wish I could have said I loved him more. This is one of the things that comes out of this particular song. One of the other things that comes out about this particular song is something like music to actually get us through things. And Rachel does this in such a tender, soft, but strong way. It's absolutely beautiful. And, one of the things we could talk about when there is a death, we could talk about the courage that rises up within us, because it's like, well, I actually have to be brave because they were brave. And this is what Rachel does right here. In fact, she says at the start, don't handle me with kid gloves if that's okay. I need to be able to do this. We then got another clip. This is called He's Gone. There's going to be a few montage clips in these clips today. He's gone. Just another a series of reflections of the Glee cast, the Glee characters as they deal with this loss. One of the lines, particularly when from Sil Sylvester, is grief can bring out the irrational in all of us. There is no rational here, guys. Rational has gone. Normal has gone. Normal has shifted. Normal will never be the same again. You can't hope to go back to where you were before, because there's a loss. But in the anger and the sadness and the frustration and the leave me alone and everything else that goes on in those moments, I think it's important to realise that if you are helping someone in grief, that there is no normal now. Might be normal for you still, but it's not normal for them. And so grief can bring out the irrational in all of us is a beautiful line, I'm thinking. We then got a very tongue-in-cheek video, because one of the things that helps funerals is a bit of humour. Often the quirky characteristics or the frustrating characteristics of people become endearing characteristics after their death. And in tongue-in-cheek style, of course, Sue Sylvester's character, the Vice President of the United States, comes out onto the stage and actually renames the auditorium in Finn's honour. And so that was a pretty amazing clip there. Just a few people on stage. Just stay with her as she reflects about her view of the Glee Club, keeps the character, but then talks about the bravery and courage that the Glee Club actually think, because they dare to look at life how it could be. And I think this is very much the case of the Finn character here. He was the quarterback. He was the king of the mountain, really, but he left all that behind to really find himself. And so we've got that clip. We then got, I thought, well, I better find a song of Finn actually singing, and I did find him singing I'll Stand By You. This is the classic song by the Pretenders. Is at this point that I'm not quite sure whether he's discovered whether he's not the dad, or he's just discovered that he might be the dad of Quinn's baby. But it doesn't matter. He sings I'll Stand By You, and Kurt very, very gently encourages him to show what he feels and say how he feels in song. And so that's a pretty amazing clip right there towards that one of this guy that's no longer there, singing this song to one of the friends of the series, Kurt, who was gay. So have a quarterback befriending a gay guy is a pretty amazing thing. Very compelling clip, that one, absolutely. Now we need to then go to Lea Michelle, of course, played the role of Rachel in Glee, and this is her on the Ellen show. And after the initial banter and hi, it's great to be back, and the excitement and all of that, they do get onto Corey's death. And one of the things that Lea talks about is the fact that she was not left alone. You know, there would always be people making comments, people taking photos, people just not giving her the space that she needed. And so she cites here that it was Kate Hudson that actually gave her and her family a home to live where they could escape the world for a while. It doesn't matter what we say about giving people space in these moments, it's just not going to happen. There's just too much media interest in reaction, because we're all wondering how Lea Michelle is going with Corey's death. But we shouldn't be wondering. You could also argue, hey, look, you know, they're living in the public space and that's just part of being a public figure. But no, public figures feel it as much as anybody, probably even more so because they're doing it in the public eye. So some quite compelling words by Lea Michelle on the Ellen show. And just to finish it off, we've got If I Die Young. This is just another montage of the cast paying tribute to not just Corey, but also Finn. Another bit of a montage. We've seen some of them in the previous clips, but just another way of just looking at just the effect this death had on this show and the world, really. Because when the show was grieving, we were all grieving and feeling it. And so sometimes we need to be held by the hand with the stuff. There's a pretty amazing shot of Will Schuster and Emma Pillsbury. He goes from going, yeah, I'm okay too. Actually, I'm not. And to be able to, for Emma to be there at that particular point was pretty amazing. So, words can sometimes not really cut it, can they? And words are not cutting it today at all. As I'm saying this thing, it's not really cutting it for me, and all I'm really hoping to do, I suppose, was to just help us to pause a little bit on what was this amazing time in television. Amazing and extremely sad at the same time. And I think Corey would have wanted us to remember him, because one of the lines is, I didn't want to remember him after he died. I wanted to remember how he lived. Pretty amazing quote, that one. I think that's certainly the case for someone who died so young. What can I remember about how he lived? So I trust you find those clips today an opportunity for you to reflect just not only on Finn's life, Corey Monteith's life, but also on people that you have lost along the way, who you think about from time to time. And by the way, it's okay to do that, because the thing that we need going forward and walking with is memories. They're what we hold on to as we go forward in our days. So I trust you found this video an opportunity to reflect today. I have also included, by the way, the last video on Glee, so if you want to recap on that one, feel free. So thank you to everyone for coming back or being here today, and I trust you've been kind of encouraged by today's video. Next time, we're going to go on to a country music legend, and that's Glen Campbell. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.